Warning: this creepypasta is made entirely from imagination and not based on any true stories. It even contains themes that are not suitable for minors, such as murder, strong language, disturbing images, references to horror-themed scenes from films, shows, and games, and graphic violence. If either you are too young to watch this, sensitive, or easily anxious, please click away from this video and watch something else. Viewer discretion is advised. Well, the producer behind those horrible Teletubbies episodes has been revealed. Be prepared as I tell you this. I was home alone. My mum had gone shopping with my foster brothers, my dad was at work, and my oldest sister was spending time with her friend. At this moment, I just decided to dig for more lost items. I grabbed my dad's metal detector and hovered it over every ground level. Just then, the machine let out its alert sound and I grabbed a shovel to dig it out, revealing a cardboard box. I carried the box into my house. Once I opened it up, it was a Teletubbies DVD. The cover depicted of the Teletubbies in a red background, with Lala being the nearest, and there was a caption above saying, "Hovercraft and Other Stories." I looked surprised seeing a rare find. I checked out the DVD. As I looked behind, the list of episodes was Hovercraft, Number 6 Version 2, Sparkling Spider, Feeding My Baby Sister, and 4 times in a row, an unusual title for a Teletubbies episode, Soldiers. What do soldiers have to do with Teletubbies? I asked myself. However, I inserted the DVD into my DVD player and got into a comfortable position. The DVD opened with the ABC DVD ident, like with the other 3 DVDs I discovered, and BBC ident, before it took me to the menu. The menu consisted of the Teletubbies watching the Nunu tidy up their blankets from Hovercraft with the 4 following menu buttons: Play All, Episode Selection, ABC Web Link, and Subtitles. I pressed Play All so I can watch the episodes. The first 4 episodes were good, but the last one? Good God. Before the episode started, a warning came up, which read, "This episode of the Teletubbies is the last known project by Ted Morgan before he was fired during 2001. I was surprised and shocked to finally know that criminal's name. Ted Morgan was behind all of those atrocities. The intro was different. Instead of being at daytime, it took place at nighttime, and the baby sun was replaced by a moon with a baby's face. The theme song played as normal, despite being in a night setting. Once the theme song ended, the first segment played, but still taking place at night. It showed a shot of the Teletubbies house for 8 seconds, until Lala walked into the shop. "Uh-oh," she said. Lala was looking around, trying to think of something to entertain herself. Just then, her shadow began to move by itself. I got confused for a second there. "Why is her shadow moving?" I asked in confusion. Lala was entertained by this. She began to dance while it moved by itself. Just then, the magic windmill began to spin behind her. "Uh-oh," she said. Lala's shadow began to move with her again as she ran off to find the other Teletubbies for a TV event. Dipsy was chosen for the TV event, and there were 2 twin boys around 6 to 7 years old. "Come and see," the older twin said. The twin boys went to their room and bring out toy soldiers to play with. "We have Team Green," the older twin said, "and Team Blue," the younger twin said. The boys then began to reenact army battles. What made the entire TV event off was the boys recreating death scenes as seen in war movies. I felt really concerned seeing those boys reenact those scenes. "Team Blue wins," the younger twin said. The boys then waved goodbye to the camera, like in every Teletubbies episode. It showed a shot of the moon baby, before it cut to a shot of the Teletubbies house. Nobody was present, it was just utter silence, aside from faint howling wind, and a shot of the house at night. I was bracing myself for a scare, but luckily there wasn't. The doors opened, revealing the 4 Teletubbies themselves. "Uh-oh," they said. "One day, in Teletubby Land," the narrator began, "the Teletubbies had gone for a night stroll." "Teletubbies night stroll," the quartet spoke. The Teletubbies then walked off to have a stroll. As they walked over the hills, they heard a childlike giggle from the distance. The Teletubbies heard this and started to look concerned. "What's that?" Tinky Winky asked. Dipsy then spoke, but talked in a full sentence.
Don't worry about it, Tinky Winky. We could just be hearing things.
I was surprised to hear a Teletubby talk in a full sentence. I was impressed. Just then, the same giggle was heard again.
Can you hear that?
Lala asked fearfully. Just then, a red and white light illuminated from a hill.
There's a light over here. Come on!
Poe ordered. The quartet then ran to the light to see what it was for. When they found the light and stepped into it, they noticed their shadows were moving by themselves. The Teletubbies got confused and worried.
What's happening?
Asked Dipsy. The shadows continued moving until they formed into duplicates of the Teletubbies, but with darker shades, and the light beneath them disappeared.
Who are you?
Asked Tinky Winky. Hello.
We are the Shadow Tubbies,
spoke the shadow version of Poe.
What brings you here?
Lala asked.
We heard that your land is too colorful. We have to clean it,
said Shadow Dipsy. The Shadow Tubbies then pointed their hands towards the entire land and shot magical powers out of them. Everything in Teletubby Land had turned dark grey. What just happened? I asked myself. Shadow Tinky Winky turned to the real Teletubbies and said, You're next.
Uh-oh,
the real Teletubbies shouted. They ran away from the Shadow Tubbies to hide.
Get them!
Shadow Lala called. The Teletubbies continued running from the Shadow Tubbies and attempted to run into their house. However, the Shadow Tubbies somehow teleported in front of them. The Teletubbies gasped in shock, seeing those evil duplicates in their way. You're not going anywhere, childish freaks, Shadow Tinky Winky said.
Hey!
Dipsy shouted.
Don't talk to us like that!
Shadow Tinky Winky just chuckled at Dipsy's response. Well, in that case... All four of the Shadow Tubbies began to talk in unison. Time to put those Teletubbies to an end once and for all! The Shadow Tubbies then pointed their hands towards each Teletubby and charged up some power, before suddenly shooting powers out of their hands. Shadow Tinky Winky attacked Tinky Winky with poison power as the latter began to choke on the poison. Shadow Dipsy attacked Dipsy with toxic power, causing his skin to mutate. Shadow Lala attacked Lala with electricity as her fur began to fry. Shadow Poe attacked Poe with fire, causing her to burn alive. The four Teletubbies screamed and screamed and screamed as they were being harmed badly by shadow versions of themselves. The screaming drowned out as a distorted music box version of the Teletubbies theme played. I sat through that entire horrible scene, not even bothering to eject the DVD. My God, how horrible, I whispered under my breath. The Teletubbies then fell to the ground in pain. The camera then slowly moved across to reveal each Teletubby's states. Tinky Winky was poisoned, and there was vomit next to him, implying he vomited. Dipsy had his arm mutated. Luckily, no blood or exposed flesh was visible. Lala's fur was sparked. Poe's corpse was the most heartbreaking, as she had been completely burnt to death, similar to Jessie's burnt corpse from the THX Texan Zerg trailer. The Shadow Tubbies then laughed together and walked off. The Moon Baby had witnessed the aftermath, and she began to cry. I felt like crying with the Moon Baby as well, but I held back my tears. The Tubby Bye-Bye segment played. Instead of the regular Teletubbies, because they died, the Shadow Tubbies took their places. I sat through the entire segment before the red-tinted ABC DVD logo came back. When the DVD logo zoomed in, the whoosh was overlapped with a sudden female shriek, which scared the crap out of me. The DVD then ended. I ejected the disc, and I then texted my mum to see the episode, and luckily she believed me. Instead of destroying it, she reported the DVD to Ragdoll and ABC. We heard about the entire story of Ted Morgan from Ragdoll and ABC, and ABC wanted the DVD back, so we sent it back to them. I can associate with Teletubbies again, and I reassured myself I can keep liking it even if I don't feel like taking an interest in it. Ted Morgan is the man who was behind those horrifying Teletubbies episodes. Thank God he got what he deserved. Avoid his tricks. Avoid them.